Now, we've been bringing you a lot of stories this week, and obviously some of them have been trending throughout the week. We're going to pick a few of them and pick your thoughts on that. Miss G joins us right now to tell us about those stories that we picked out for you.
Very true. It's time now to be heard on the most interactive segments on Joy News Prime. Find us on facebook.com/Joy News on TV, on twitter.com @Joy News on TV, and on WhatsApp the number is 0560-800,000. Remember to add your name and location, but do not call. Today, the Electoral Commission received forms from presidential and parliamentary hopefuls across the country. So far, 17 presidential aspirants have filed their nomination forms ahead of the December 2016 election. So, can you mention at least 5 names of those who have filed, and what do you make of the process?
Yeah, I know of Akua-Donkor, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I know of John Dramani Mahama.
Okay.
I know of Pakwasi Ndum.
Let me help you. I think the wife of the former president, Nana Akufo-Addo Lawrence, has also filed her.
So far, we've had 17 people filing their nomination form.
I think I've heard of Ivan Greenstreet as well.
Okay.
Yeah, filing his nomination. And also this part I heard that looked fun.
What have you learned through the process?
Yeah, I think the increment of the filing, I think the fees, yeah, I think it's exorbitant. This has hindered a whole lot of people from entering into this year's election. For example, a situation where we have an amount of 500,000, I guess, or I think, yes. I think it's too huge for certain political parties. An example, I don't know whether is independents have they submitted yes? I'm not sure they have submitted yes. Yes, and the situation of Akua-Donkor who thought the money was so huge, so he had to actually put the money in 2 checks.
That was actually an interesting part of the filing of the nomination form.
Yeah, I also learned perhaps the money, I think the amount of the money is also okay. Because perhaps the EC might need more money in able to conduct the election free and fairly. Though the state will be issuing some money to the EC, but I think that will not be enough. So that money will also enhance the EC probably to conduct the election.
Nothing wrong.
The increment is actually a regulatory something that
so?
Yeah, we wouldn't have a whole lot of parties on board, or wouldn't have a whole lot of people involving themselves into the election process as well. Probably looking at what is happening now, I think so. It's the survival of the fittest. If you fit, then you're able to go with the lions.
You've learned a lot through the process.
You know, even talking about the amount can discourage people for them not to buy even the form. Because if I want to be a president and I can't afford this money, that means I'm not going to involve myself.
All right, so we're back here in the studio in Araba. Of course, you've been hearing what they've been saying. And I'm sure I need not ask you to mention 5 people because you have all the names. You can mention all 17. So let's see what people have been saying to us on Facebook.
Throughout the week, always has a comment to make. And yes, so good evening to you, Shifman, if you're listening. Now, Shifman says, all what I know is Nana Akufo-Addo and the MPP. All the rest are Yawa. Nana Addo's chances are brighter because Ghana is now in a leadership crisis and we need an incorruptible and big-thinking president to make Ghana work again. Incompetent Mahama will fall like Babylon. Now, Bentete says, please allow only the NDC, the MPP, the PPP, CPP, only for the ballot paper. Otherwise, it will be too long with all the 17 who submitted their forms. It will also touch the ground and be dirty. Bentete, I'm sure that the EC will decide who will be on that ballot paper. Mahama Ba Kojo says, JM Twaso. I'm still waiting for December 7th to cast my vote for you, John Mahama, to become my president. The Lord is in control. The Lord has done it. One-touch victory for JM's second and final term. Prince Nuruddin Baumia says, Honorable Nana Akufo-Addo, Akua-Donkor, John Mahama, Nana Akufo-Addo Rawlings, and Edward Mahama of the PNC. Hashtag I am for change. And Mohammed Astro Damongo says, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC still stand a high chance of winning the upcoming general elections. This is because there's so many developmental projects that have been abundantly showed by him and the NDC. And you see, what people are doing is basically talking about their preferred candidates. Just a few of them mention actually the number of people they know who have actually filed their nomination forms. But
okay, so on WhatsApp, like you said, we haven't just few people mentioned. And Pat in Kede says, Nana Akufo-Addo, Ekweadonko, Dr. Pakwesi Indum, Nana Kwenedu Ajiman Rawlings, and Ayariga, and he puts in, or she puts into brackets, cough, meaning that Ayariga or Ayarikov. And the only person I know is Nana Akufo-Addo. My name is Yao, or Nana Yao, and Nana, man of vision and hope that you can trust. I support the filing fee because some people think we Ghanaians are jokers. By Awal Chambers in Ho. And Razak from Walwali says JM Ekweadonko, Nana Akufo-Addo, Pakwesi Indum, and Hassan Ayariga. Those are some names coming. But at Araba, it's disturbing that few people are asking also that there's rumor that the ex-footballer Abedi Pele has passed, according to some report that is on the Joy News platform.
No, we've been speaking to our colleagues on the sports
and of course that's
department,
not true, because I've seen him on social media actually taking his routine exercises. He's on treadmill, you know, exercising. So
in fact, we just spoke to Benedict of our sports desk, and he tells us that, you know, Abedi Pele has heard these rumors. He doesn't know where it's emanating from, and he's actually eating as we speak.
Okay, so that's great news. So all of you who are still posting questions about that, that's news on Abedi Pele. But the chief of Amanuma in the Central Region says any male student of the University of Cape Coast who impregnates any woman in his town will be forced to marry the woman. This is because one of the students impregnated a young lady and escaped. According to Nana Yatel III, the new rule will deter the male student from impregnating young ladies in the town. As if that is not enough, Nana says these students escaped from the town after their acts, leaving the mothers and babies to their fate. What do you think about this issue?
Yeah, I agree with the chief, because I feel that on the part of the culture of the particular setting, they are demoralizing what sex and what marriage should be. So I believe that it is right for the chief, you know, to make that point that the guys need to marry them. If they, in the first place, they knew that having sex with them has consequences, then they know that getting pregnant also has consequences. So they should be made to marry the ladies.
I don't agree with the chief, because they should be able to educate their ladies. Okay, right now we live in a world where standards have fallen. So then they should educate their ladies. Okay, you're not supposed to sleep with somebody you're not married to. So then if you knew that he could run away and leave you, he wouldn't take responsibility for the child, then in the first place you shouldn't sleep with him.
At the initial stage, perhaps you wouldn't know he's going to run away. Perhaps he's told you all the flattering words. So how would you know if he will leave you or not?
Well, I agree with the chief with his perspective that students who impregnate the girls should marry them. And I believe that, you know, as we are in school, 300, 400, we believe after school you either further your education, masters or international service, or you think about marriage. So students in this perspective, the impregnating isn't a cause for them to marry, but at least being educated and you know that you have to get someone to marry. I agree with the chief that whenever you get a person pregnant, you should marry her, because if the person is with you, you're waiting for her because you loved her. One. And two, you wouldn't go in for someone that you don't like. You get me?
Okay, so then I think that they are not in SHS, okay? They are in the university where they are allowed to do almost everything, okay? They're supposed to be in school, but they're allowed to go out, so they can do anything they want. That's why they're supposed to caution their girls, okay? You don't sleep with him because he's not married to you. Then you avoid being a single mother. We prevent the situation where he impregnates you and he runs away and you become frustrated. Just don't go in for it at all. They should be educated.
Do you think the chief, what he said, actually will deter students from actually doing this?
Well, I think it will go to a large extent to deter, because most guys are afraid of pregnancy. Okay, you can look at recently the inception of these new pills that, you know, can help them prevent, contraceptives that help them prevent pregnancies, and you realize that they're really going in for it. So I believe that if this is what the chief has said, and, you know, binding by the cultures or the traditions of a particular society, it holds very much, especially in our societies. And I think on the part, it won't be fair if the guys will just impregnate them and leave the ladies, because it creates a stigma in our society. No guy wants to marry a born one lady.
And of course, that's a stern decision by the chief of Amanuma in the Central region. Araba, I don't know. You're from the Central region. What do you make of this?
I don't think the chief can force anyone to. I mean, it's a legitimate concern, but you don't use force in such cases. Yes, but there are interesting comments coming up on Facebook.
Okay, let's hear them.
Lord Osbach says, I advise Nana to write to Parliament to enact a child support law which will force these guys to take care of their kids rather than forcing them to marry their victims. Because I don't think it will be plausible to force marriage on anyone. It may even lead to further consequences. James Osubanahene has a funny comment. He says, this same chief said this about 8 years ago when I was in UCC, and till date, I have never had any student being forced to marry anyone. It's just one of those things. However, upon all the plenty women on campus who are gnashing, why on earth would you go in for these young town girls? And the annoying part, impregnate them. The evil that men do lives after them. Karma will surely catch up with you. So that's from James Owusu-Banahene, and he was in UCC, so he knows what he's talking about. Okay, Sabina Macrosson says, as a leader, we all know you can't force anyone to marry someone they don't love. This is what I will term marriage under duress. Ha ha ha, very funny. Please just educate your girls to either refrain from causal sex, casual sex, or wear condom when they indulge in any sexual activity. This your proposal is not going to work, mister. Asari got sent, Temaboy Owusu says, but this punishment doesn't make sense, because the way the hostels are scattered, Shifmano says, for this one, I think it is in order. If you know you don't like the girl, don't enter the palace. If you impregnate girls anyhow, you must be forced to marry the girls anyhow. And there are lots more comment. Aduma Bafo says, Nana, this is a nice comment, but I suggest it's time your people appreciate the essential for schooling too. If they're all in the same level, I see no reason why marriage should be forced. My question is, what happens to a person who impregnates a UCC lady too? So he's talking about the reverse. What then happens?
To a man in town who impregnates a student on campus.
Exactly.
Well, that's a nice one. Okay, so BJ from Kaswa says, wow, this is even good. You need to impregnate as many women as you can. That's what he is saying. It's an opportunity. And I don't agree with the chief, because marriage is far different from pregnancy. If the chief insists, then when marrying, they should add blood pressure apparatus to the things that you're marrying with. And Fauzia says that I agree with the chief, and show go down to the community ladies, and they should tell them about this so that the people stop impregnating them and just leave them like that. It's very sad. And this one says they should educate their girls. Good chief, I stand by your decision. Ismaila in Wa says that.
Very quick response from Nana Jeman Bedu Obrempong Kese. He says, do you think this can happen? What if a guy impregnates as many girls? Can he marry all of them? Very interesting.
Very, very interesting comments coming. But if you find yourself taking up 2 to 3 selfies a day, but not posting them on social media, consider yourself as a borderline. The American Psychiatric Association has confirmed officially that taking selfies is a mental disturbance. This disorder is called selfishness, and it's defined as a desire to take photos of oneself and post them on social media twice a day. According to them, there is no cure for this disorder. What do you think?
Actually, I disagree with them, because taking selfies is like expressing your emotions, like how you feel. Maybe you just want to like show people what you're doing at the moment, or maybe take a picture and be like, oh, I was here but you want your face to come in. You can't just take it and after taking a picture of your face, but taking a picture with the tenant behind you is like, in the future, you can actually remember that, oh yeah, I was here like I came here or something like that.
Yeah, I agree with her. You see, taking selfie is so fun. After I had this work, you go to class, you're stressed out, you meet your friends, fun time, just take a selfie, something to relax you. But then I think the only thing that comes with this is the poses people do. That's what makes it look like insane.
That's what you find intriguing.
Yeah, you see someone taking a selfie and then the legs, or like leg poses.
Sometimes you get people taking selfies even when they get accidents. Someone might be sick, so sick, they'll be like, I'm sick, and the person will just post it. We don't care about you being sick. People take unnecessary selfie pictures that are not so important to us. So me, I think it's not really necessary. And then you also get people taking selfies with dead bodies, which is not so right. So yeah.
It's not really necessary. I don't think so, because I don't agree with them. I totally disagree with them, because selfies, like, it's fun. It's a normal something. I don't see anything wrong with it. Yeah, I just don't see anything wrong with selfies.
Well, I agree with the fact that in this era, you don't expect someone to come and take a picture of you. Those days when we didn't have the selfie phones, you call your sister and your sister will be busy. It's cool to have a selfie, a phone that has a front camera. But then my point is, why would someone take a selfie at the point of death? Okay, so that is when it becomes abnormal. I agree with them to some extent. And to some extent, I also agree with my sister saying it's a fun thing. You just take selfies when you feel like you don't have a limited time or something. It's something fun, but then people should check the way they do things and then where exactly they do it. Yeah.
I'd like to take a selfie with you. Do you mind?
Right now, you can.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, we are ready to take a selfie.
But I must tell you that a lot of us are sick, you know, because the number of selfies we get to take a day, and even in the advent, with the advent of Snapchat, where people are walking and they're like, oh, I'm coming, I'm going here, I'm coming here.
Yes.
And we do all that sometimes, and we don't even post them.
No, but medical experts say that, you know, we all have some level of madness in us.
Okay, so,
you know, so I mean, we are not going over the edge. We just have a little bit in us. So
we have
maybe that's
a bit
what
of self-it-is.
Yes, exactly. Maybe that's what it is. But, well, let's see some of the comments coming out here. Heinz Dieter Spitzchan says, in former times, there was no internet and Facebook and also no smartphones. So you must not see, so you couldn't see all the stupidity of this world day by day. Today, everything has changed. Internet, Facebook, and smartphones are available, but not more of intelligence. Instead, stupidity is coming up more and more. Okay, Shifman Osei says, oh, this is sad to see you, and we're making fun out of this. Abodam in selfie. Jumo Ya says, then what's the essence of the camera on the phone? America, they overdo, waiting safe. Prince Nuruddin Bamia says, very hilarious research. Research is conducted to increase knowledge, but not to increase jokes. There was one that I wanted to show you. TZTA Men says, is the absolute truth. A Ghanaian will even take a selfie on the way to hell.
And that's true. And this one says, selfie is becoming madness. Even the ladies, when crossing the road, are taking selfies. That's how bad it's become, you know. I wish we could take a selfie right now, Araba. But it's time for us to go, Raps.
Okay.
Okay, so you're coming for the selfie.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's take a selfie.
Let's show. So on that note, we say thank you for joining us throughout the week. Stay with us tomorrow too. We'll come back tomorrow as well. But continue listening and watching to our programs here on the Joy News channel. I'm Araba Kumsin saying bye.
Bye. More selfies.